Have you ever walked away from a woman convinced she wasn't into you, only to find out later she was waiting for you to make a move? You replay the conversation in your head. She smiled, she laughed, she touched her hair. Was it just friendliness or something else? Here's the brutal truth. Most men don't get rejected by women. They reject themselves because they missed the signal, not the words, the body. Because women don't say what they want. They show it, but they show it in micro signals, primitive cues, biological flashes that disappear if you're not trained to catch them. And here's the twist. She doesn't even know she's doing it. She's not thinking, I'm going to flip my hair, tilt my neck, expose my wrists. No, her body is betraying her. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about tricks. This is about instinct. Hardwired signals of arousal that bypass logic and leak through her flesh. And if you miss them, you become the friend, the safe guy, the one she respects, but never craves. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen her pupils widen when you speak? Have you caught her glancing at your mouth, then looking away? Have you noticed her stepping just slightly too close, for no good reason? Most men don't, because they were trained to listen to her words, not her biology. But here's what no one tells you. A woman's mouth will lie to protect her reputation. Her body won't. And this is the game-changing truth. Women evolved to hide their desire, and only the men who can see through that camouflage get chosen. Why do you think women say things like, I don't know why I slept with him? It just happened. I wasn't even attracted to him at first. It's because the decision wasn't made by her mind. It was made by her nervous system, and that system was responding to cues, yours. So if you're relying on logic, conversation, and being a nice guy, you've already lost. Because while you were trying to be respectful, the other guy, the one who knows what she looks like when she's turned on, just walked in and read her like a book. He didn't ask for permission. He read the signals, and she followed the current of her own body. That's the man she chooses, not because he's hotter, not because he's richer, but because he understands what she's really saying, without saying anything. If that doesn't disturb you, it should, because you've been lied to. You were told attraction is about being kind, being clear, being available. But attraction isn't logical, it's biological. And starting right now, I'm going to show you how to decode it. Because when she wants it, she won't say it, but her body will scream it if you know how to listen. So now you know. She's not going to say it, but that doesn't mean she's hiding it. Her eyes already did. Let's start with the first battleground, the one most men never even think to check: pupil dilation. When a woman is turned on, not entertained, not interested in the conversation, not being polite, but sexually aroused, her pupils expand, not because she wants them to, not because she's trying to seduce you, but because her nervous system is flooding her body with arousal hormones. That little black circle in her eye, it grows wider when she sees something or someone her body wants. And here's the kicker. Lighting doesn't matter. If her pupils are larger than they should be, and they're locking onto you, you're not imagining it. That's not friendliness, that's biology. But don't stop there, because pupil dilation is just the first whisper. Real lust speaks in patterns. Watch her gaze. If her eyes keep returning to yours, even when you're not talking, she's not checking for your opinion. She's anchoring, creating tension, feeding the electricity building between you. Her stare will linger, just half a second longer than needed, and it'll happen again and again until you start feeling it in your spine and asking yourself, am I imagining this? You're not. And if she breaks the stare by looking down, not up, not sideways, but down, especially toward your mouth, you've just witnessed one of the most reliable pre-kiss signals on the planet. Not 1 in 100 men notices it, but women do it all the time when they want to be kissed without ever admitting it. She's not planning this. She's not thinking, let me look at his lips to give a cue. Her body is doing it, on autopilot. And then there's bedroom eyes. You've seen them. Heavy lids, soft focus, that half-glazed look that makes you feel like something's happening beneath the surface. That's not acting. That's muscle tension melting from arousal. You see, when a woman is sexually stimulated, the tiny muscles around her eyes relax and blood rushes to her face. Her expression softens. Her blink rate slows. She seems almost dreamy. Now, let me hit you with something no one tells you. Aroused women get closer, but only to the men they want. Her body literally turns toward you, even if her friends are behind her. Her torso, hips, and even her feet start facing you, like her body's trying to align with yours, not because she planned it, because attraction is spatial. And here's a test. If she doesn't position herself near the door, if she doesn't block herself off with her arms or her purse, if she's slowly reducing the space between you, she's not just standing there. She's inviting something. Most men wait for an obvious sign, but this is it. This is the obvious sign. So stop listening to the words. Start watching her eyes, her posture, her distance, because if her body starts drifting closer and her gaze starts dropping lower, she's not being nice. She's being primal. You ever wonder why she brushed against your arm? Why her fingers lingered just a little too long when handing you something? Did it mean anything, or was it just a coincidence? Let me tell you the truth most men ignore. There's no such thing as accidental touch when a woman is aroused. In the world of primal biology, touch is everything. It's how her body tests yours, how she gauges your awareness, how she says, I want you to notice me, without ever opening her mouth. But here's what separates the men who get chosen from the men who get friend-zoned. They notice the difference between social touch and lustful touch. So let's break it down. When a woman is just being polite, her contact is brief, practical, and forgettable. A pat on the shoulder, a quick touch to pass a drink, zero tension, no spark. It's autopilot. But when she's turned on, even just a little, everything changes. She might start by initiating unnecessary contact, brushing against you in a crowded hallway, even though there's space, letting her leg accidentally touch yours under the table, pressing just slightly closer than needed during a hug. And here's the key. These moments feel loaded, charged. There's a hesitation, a slow pull away, as if her skin is asking your skin a question and waiting to see if you felt it. But that's just the beginning. When arousal grows, so does her boldness. She'll start touching herself, but not for comfort, for display. Watch, fingers running through her hair again and again, lightly stroking her own arm, wrist, or thigh, adjusting jewelry with slow, sensual movements. These aren't random, they're designed to pull your gaze. They highlight her neck, her wrists, her curves, the very areas most tied to feminine allure. It's her body saying, are you awake? Do you see what I'm offering? And then she tests you. She'll touch you, gently, casually. Maybe her hand lands on your chest for emphasis. Maybe she taps your knee when laughing. But here's the giveaway. She keeps doing it. Not once, not twice, consistently, repeatedly. And every time she touches you, she's watching, subtly, how you respond. Are you confident? Do you lean in? Do you touch back? Because here's the psychological truth. When a woman is aroused, she wants to be touched, but only by the man who passes the test. If she leans into your touch, if she doesn't flinch, pull away, or redirect, if she maintains contact longer than necessary, you're not imagining it. That's not friendliness, that's craving. And if you don't act on it, if you ignore the signal, you failed the test, because her biology speaks first, not with words, with skin. You know what's more revealing than her words? The way she says them. You might think body language is the loudest signal a woman gives off when she's turned on, but there's something even more primal, more intimate: her voice. Because when she wants it, her voice changes, and she can't help it. Not because she's trying to seduce you, not because she's playing games, but because arousal hijacks her nervous system, and it bleeds through her breath. Let me ask you this: have you ever noticed her voice get softer, warmer, almost smoky when she's talking to you? Have you ever felt like her words were wrapped in velvet, like the conversation itself was suddenly more charged? That's not your imagination. That's biology speaking before permission is given. Here's what's happening. When a woman is aroused, her body relaxes, her muscle tension drops, her vocal cords loosen, and that creates a lower pitch. Her voice gets huskier, breathier, and slower. She doesn't even know it's happening. And this shift in tone, it's not random. It's instinctual vulnerability, the sound of her body entering a more receptive, feminine state. Now pay close attention to how she breathes. When a woman is sexually stimulated, her breath deepens. You'll notice more pauses between her sentences, more sighs, more soft, airy sounds as she exhales. These aren't just signs of relaxation. They're clues that her nervous system is turning on, and if you're really tuned in, you'll hear her laugh change. The socially polite woman gives short, controlled laughs, the kind that feel performative. But the woman who's aroused, her laugh becomes longer, freer, more genuine, even if what you said wasn't that funny. Why? Because arousal elevates her mood. It lowers inhibition. It creates pleasure just being in your presence. But here's where it gets surgical. Watch how her voice behaves in public. If she starts speaking quieter when she's close to you, as if creating a private bubble, she's pulling you into intimacy. She's forcing you to lean in, to close the space between you, to enter her orbit. And if she starts mirroring your speech patterns, your rhythm, your vocabulary, your volume, she's sinking. Her unconscious mind is trying to align with yours, not socially, sexually. Men who don't hear this, who think it's just conversation, they miss everything, because lust doesn't scream. It whispers, it slips between the words, it hides in the breath, it softens the tone. If her voice suddenly feels like a slow dance, if her laugh wraps around you like a ribbon, if her pauses feel like invitations instead of silence, she doesn't need to say she wants you. She already has. You think she's just playing with her hair? You think she's just fixing her clothes? You think she's just being feminine? You have no idea what her body is doing. Because when a woman is turned on, even subtly, her body begins preparing itself, not consciously, biologically. And it begins with the most underestimated display of all, her hair. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed a woman start twirling her hair around her finger, running her fingers through it, flipping it over her shoulder again and again, like a scene from a movie? You thought it was just a habit. No, that's not grooming. That's signaling, because her hair is one of her most powerful visual weapons. It frames her face. It draws your attention to her neck. And when she touches it repeatedly, especially when talking to you, it's her body's way of saying, notice me, see me, I want you focused, right here. And it gets deeper. The nape of her neck is one of the most sensitive areas on her body. It's an ancient erogenous zone where submission and exposure overlap. So when she lifts her hair to expose that skin, when she tilts her head slightly to one side, she's showing vulnerability. She's testing safety while simultaneously offering allure. You don't need her to say anything. That move says it all, but it doesn't stop there. Now watch her skin. When a woman experiences sexual arousal, blood flow increases to the surface. This creates a flush, that slight warm glow across her chest, her cheeks, her neck. That's not makeup. That's not nerves, that's biology betraying her. Her body is preparing to be touched, preparing to be seen, preparing to be claimed, and in that moment, her subconscious is working overtime to put herself in your line of sight. She'll lean forward just slightly. She'll sit in ways that expose more skin. She'll adjust her clothing, not dramatically, but just enough to say, "Look at me, not all of me, just enough." It's the tease built into her DNA. Too obvious and she loses mystery. Too hidden and she loses opportunity. So she dances in the space between, where men who know how to read her always win. And if you think these signals are random, let me be clear. She only does this around the men she's attracted to. You've probably seen her act cold and professional around one guy, then suddenly playful, animated, exposed around another. It wasn't about who was nicest. It was about who stirred her instinct. So the next time you see her flip her hair, adjust her top, or reveal just an inch more skin, don't ignore it. Because the part of her that wants you is already speaking, and it doesn't use words. You think men are the only ones who compete for mates. Think again. When a woman experiences genuine lust, something ancient wakes up inside her. It's not soft, it's not sweet, and it's definitely not polite. It's territorial. You see, women don't always chase what they want. They often position themselves between what they desire and anything that might take it away. Let me show you how this works. Ever been in a group setting, maybe at a party or a bar, and noticed one woman suddenly getting closer, not saying much, not making a move, just quietly inserting herself between you and every other attractive woman in the room? That wasn't coincidence. That was a claim. Because once she feels desire, real, biological, body-level desire, she starts behaving like someone who has something to lose. And here's where it gets powerful. A woman will often show more intensity in competition than she ever does in seduction. Why? Because competing for attention lights up the same brain circuits as survival. So she'll start subtly escalating, laughing louder, touching more, moving in closer than before. And if another woman joins the conversation, watch her posture shift, watch her energy spike, watch her smile fade just slightly. It's not jealousy in the emotional sense. It's competition encoded into her nervous system. She's not thinking it. She's reacting, just like a lioness guarding a fresh kill. And if you're the target, you're the prize she doesn't want stolen. Let me break it down even more. She might suddenly start making future plans, just the two of you, suggesting we should hang out sometime, mentioning things you two could do, bringing up inside jokes or personal memories, all in front of other women. That's not flirting, that's staking claim. She's sending a message, he's already mine, don't even try. And if you're paying attention, you'll also see it in the way she handles proximity. She'll sit closer. She'll leave her bag, her drink, or her jacket next to you, even when it doesn't make sense. Why? Because she's marking space, territory, claim. But here's the most brutal part. The same woman who wasn't that into you before can become ferociously invested the second she sees another woman light up around you. It's not that she changed her mind. It's that her instinct kicked in. Because female desire is rarely passive. It's strategic, calculated, and at its core, possessive. You'll hear it in her tone, see it in her body, feel it in the way she watches your interactions like a hawk behind a smile. And if you don't know how to read that, if you mistake it for just being friendly, you'll never see the moment she chose you. Because when she marks her territory, she's already decided you belong to her. You ever wonder why she adjusted her shirt when you walked in? Why her hand suddenly ran down her leg, smoothing invisible wrinkles? Why she checked her reflection when she wasn't even going anywhere? She's not doing that for herself. She's doing it for you. Here's what most men never realize. A woman will dress for attention, not approval, not compliments. attention. When she's sexually interested, her body subconsciously moves into display mode. It's ancient, animalistic. It's about being seen, not just noticed. Watch her posture. She'll arch her back, lift her chest, tilt her hips forward, not dramatically, but enough to emphasize her curves. She's not announcing it. She's letting you discover it. And that's the art. Seduction through subtlety. The same woman who sits casually around friends will suddenly shift her stance when the man she desires enters the room. Legs cross differently, shoulders square, her body opens. It's like her nervous system is whispering, "Make me visible to him." Even her grooming habits change. She touches up her lipstick, fixes her hair, again, repositions her accessories to draw attention to her neck, her collarbone, her wrists. These aren't random, they're biological lures, honed through centuries of evolutionary mating strategy. And here's the punchline. She may never admit it. She may act like she didn't do anything special, but her body already gave her away. When she wants to be seen by you, you'll feel it before you ever hear it. So you've seen the signals, the eyes, the touch, the posture, the proximity. But now we enter the final stage, the one most men are too afraid to notice. Submission. Not the kind you hear about in movies, not fake obedience, not dramatized fantasy. I'm talking about true biological surrender, the moment her body stops resisting and starts yielding. Here's what to look for. She tilts her head, exposing her neck. That isn't just a flirtatious gesture, it's vulnerability, it's instinctual trust. She's saying, "I don't feel the need to protect myself around you." Her hands soften, her palms become visible, her arms open instead of crossing over her chest, her legs angle toward you, not away. And perhaps most revealing, she mirrors your leadership. She asks for your opinion. She defers to your decisions, not because she's weak, but because she's magnetized by your strength. When a woman is truly aroused, her body enters a receptive state. She breathes slower, her muscles loosen, her energy drops from defense into openness. She's not just available, she's responding. But if you hesitate, if you second guess, if you ask for permission to lead her, you'll kill the moment. Because at this stage, words mean nothing. Only presence matters. If she begins submitting through her body, it means her unconscious mind already chose you. Now the only question is, will you claim the moment or let it slip through your hands? She'll smile, she'll laugh, she'll say you're sweet, respectful, a great guy, but you'll walk away feeling like something's missing because her words didn't match her body. And deep down, you knew it. This is where most men stay stuck, confused, frustrated, rejected without explanation, not because she wasn't attracted, but because you didn't speak her true language. She didn't need flowers. She didn't need effort. She needed presence, the ability to feel you without you saying a word. And if you missed her gaze, if you ignored her touch, if you didn't notice the way she shifted her body to face you, then you missed the invitation. Because here's the truth, no one teaches men. Women don't say what they want. They show it, subtly, biologically, unconsciously. And only a man grounded enough to see it gets chosen. Everything she wants hides behind what she won't say. Her breath, her laugh, her voice when it drops into a whisper. She'll never sit you down and confess, "I'm aroused right now. Please take the lead." But her nervous system already told you. You just didn't know how to listen. Now you do. So from this moment on, watch her body, read the signals, trust your instincts. And when you see the signs, don't second guess, don't hesitate, don't wait for words. Because when she wants it, she won't say it, but her body already did. If you've finally seen the signals, don't ignore this one. Like, subscribe, and pass it on to a brother who still can't read the room. Thanks for watching.